Hey, have you ever felt boxed in by the label of either introvert or extrovert? The truth is, none of us are just one or the other. It's not just about personality, it's also about comfort. Think about this. When you're with, say, a group of your best friends, and you're maybe cracking jokes, sharing stories, and you feel completely at ease, do you ever feel like an introvert then? Probably not, right? But in an unfamiliar setting, suddenly that label, it fits and you're wearing it. So here's the game changer. It's not about who you are, it's about how comfortable you feel.
Welcome to Small Business Big Visibility, the podcast empowering you, adventurous small business owners, to attract your ideal customers and boost your revenue. I'm your host, Jason McKenzie. Each week, we'll explore easy to implement tools and strategies to take your business to new heights and build the lifestyle you want. If you're ready for more profits and less stress, let's get started.
I have more than one friend, and they are uncomfortable in large groups. I used to be the same way. You put them in a small group, maybe a few friends, a few people they don't even know, a couple of people, maybe they're just one-on-one. They're okay. But you get them into a large room, big gathering, ton of people all around, people milling all about, and it's not a good situation for them. These large gatherings, sometimes the people I know, they'll physically feel like they have to have their back up against a wall to be safe. Or they're constantly listening to every single conversation going on around them simultaneously. Or maybe they're constantly watching all the different people. Why are they doing all that? Why do you need to feel like you have to have the back against the wall? Why do you have to listen to all those conversations? All those people say essentially the same thing. It's that they feel uncomfortable. They say things like they're feeling threatened. Being in a big group, it's just draining for them, and they don't like it. Why is this? Well, for one of those friends, they worked in law enforcement, and so they were trained. You're always looking for the threat. You're always listening for the threat. If that's the case, that they've been trained to be on high alert in a large group, would that seem kind of like they want to be an introvert because now they're uncomfortable being in a large group setting? I think so. Now, others have different reasons. They aren't all ex-police or anything like that, or ex-military. They all have their own reasons. But often, when you boil it down, they are feeling uncomfortable in those groups, they feel threatened in those groups, and they want to be in a situation where they feel comfortable. So, how about you? What's your situation? How do you feel being in front of a large group, mixing in with a large group? Are you an introvert? Do you feel like an introvert? Do you wear that label of introvert? If so, I've got 5 tips that I think can help you network and socialize like an extrovert, even if you feel like an introvert today. Now, before I get to the 5 tips, I want you to visualize in your mind your confidence is like a thermostat. In a nice, warm setting, you're feeling relaxed, engaged, and outgoing, right? But in that room full of strangers, the thermostat drops, it's ice cold, and your brain's natural self-preservation kicks in. Suddenly, your fight or flight response, it starts whispering, stay quiet, play it safe, against the wall, listen to them, right? And that thermostat, it is at freezing. You are totally uncomfortable. Here's the kicker. If someone only saw you with your close friends, they'd describe you as confident. They'd say you're social, you're outgoing, you're funny, you're awesome, right? That's evidence that the introversion isn't just about personality type, it's also a reaction to discomfort. So let's now dive in to these 5 tips that we have so that you can start turning that dial of comfort from ice cold misery to warm, comfortable, ready to be outgoing. Here's tip number 1. You need to tap into your passion. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to talk about something you're passionate about? They could be a complete stranger 2 minutes before, but as soon as you both find out that you share a passion, boom, game on. All of the fears are gone. You're ready to talk. You're ready to have a conversation about it. You start sharing details about that passion. You are engaged, right? That's a moment where the thermostat got turned up, the comfort level got turned up, and you're ready to be the true you. So before your next event, identify a topic that excites you, whether it's a new business trend, a side hobby, maybe an innovative idea. Why? Because when you speak with genuine enthusiasm, all that self-doubt, the fear, the worry, and the concern, they're going to have to take the back seat for the excitement you feel about that passion. So, again, tip number 1, find and share a passion when you're out in those networking settings. All right, tip number 2 is shifting your focus outward. Here is a simple but powerful trick. Stop focusing on yourself. Instead of worrying about what to say, maybe just become genuinely curious about all the people around you. So you may be asking, hey Jason, how do I do that? All right, here's a few things you can do. The biggest one is you can ask open-ended questions. So you could say, hey, what got you into this industry? And then the trick is to actually be interested in what they're going to say as the answer. So a couple other ideas of what you could say. What's the most exciting thing you're working on right now? Or you could say, if you could give your younger self a piece of advice, what would you say? Maybe you could say, what's your journey that led you to the job you currently have? And then listen. Let the other person talk and be genuinely interested. See how many pieces of information you can grasp and remember after the conversation's done. When you're focusing on understanding what they're saying, when you're focused on what they're saying, when you're focused on who they are, oftentimes that part of you that feels like it needs to hide in the corner takes that back seat again. All right, tip number 3 is you can empower yourself through empathy. Have you ever walked into a room and you see somebody that is clearly as nervous and uncomfortable as you're feeling on the inside? When you go to those events, look around the room for one of those people. And then when you find one of those people, see how you can help them. You can easily walk up, introduce yourself, ask them about themselves, get them talking, and then walk them over to someone else and bring them into a group setting and help them integrate with a few other people. They'll be so grateful to you, and you'll be so busy helping them, you'll have forgotten to be scared yourself. All right, tip number 4 is using mindfulness and visualization. Before each event, take 60 seconds, just 1 minute, and close your eyes and visualize yourself happy, having fun, engaging with people, smiling, excited to be there. Picture that, visualize that, think about that, set that as what you're going to do when you get there. So why does this work? Well, I believe this works because your brain can't always tell the difference between what you are visualizing and what actually happened. If you create this visualization, your brain's going to say, oh, that's how I'm supposed to behave. And then it acts accordingly. Now, this one probably won't overcome all of your problem at once, but it's certainly helping, again, to move that thermostat in the warm and comfortable zone. All right, you ready for tip number 5? It's starting small and role-playing. Start by attending a networking event with just a small group. Practice there. And then as you get comfortable with that, you can graduate to a bigger event. Now with role-playing, it's very similar to visualization, except for you're actually experiencing it on the outside instead of just inside your mind. Find a trusted friend, find a mentor, find someone that you're comfortable role-playing with. That might be hard, but go ahead and find somebody and ask them for help. Pretend like you're introducing yourself to a stranger to them. Do that a few times and your body will start to go from red alert, uncomfortable, icy cold thermostat to, oh, this isn't so terrible. And it will help shift that for you as well. Have you ever seen a thriving garden? I mean, one that's beautiful. The plants are growing. They've got fruit and vegetables ready to be picked. Maybe you grab a tomato and you eat it and it's just at the peak of ripeness. Have you ever been in a garden like that? Well, there's a secret to having the perfect garden. And it's more than just planting the seeds. It's having the right conditions. The same is true for confidence. When you practice these 5 tips, they're going to give you the right conditions to help you pull yourself out of the introversion shell and begin to express yourself as an extrovert would. Now, if you neglect and don't practice these steps, most likely that thermostat will get turned to the cold and stay there. So in conclusion, I want to challenge you to forget the label of introvert, forget the label of extrovert. Instead, think about it in degrees of comfort, just like the thermostat. Are you icy cold and completely uncomfortable in this social setting, or are you at a stage where you feel comfortable and warm, like you're sitting next to a crackling fire in the wintertime? Which one is it, or is it somewhere in between? As you can bring that thermostat up to the comfortable level, you will be ready to act the same way that extroverts act, even if you believe that you're an introvert. So here's my challenge for you. Find a networking event, commit to yourself to attend it, and practice the 5 techniques before and during the networking event, and see the difference that it's going to make for you. If practicing all 5 is too much, just start with 1. Remember, every small step that you take is a step towards the business that you've been looking for. Until next time, adjust your internal thermostat, network like an extrovert, and watch your business thrive.